All right. Well, welcome to another episode of Tall Boy Sunday. I'm your host, Mike. Like always, my co-host, Brian.
What's up, guys?
My brother. And the return of Troy Stud.
Hallelujah.
Professional comedian.
God, so good to be back.
Yeah.
I missed you.
And just real quick, I know we've been off for a long time. A few months ago, or a year ago, I lost a major contract for my job. I run a little business. And, we haven't been struggling, but we've been more busy, And with producer Omar, he got promoted at his job. Congratulations. But he's been doing 18-hour days. So, like anybody asking, that was the real reason why. But we're happy to be back. Today is June 20th.
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
Pretty sure. Woke up at 3 in the morning today, but it's June 20th. And happy to be back. For producer Omar, we have producer Jay filling in today.
Yo, what's up?
What up? And then, Troy, welcome back.
Yeah, I think it'd be only right to pour one out for Omar,
Oh, yeah.
Miss you, brother.
Pour one out.
I don't know pour one out. But
Yeah, no, soak
We'll
the
drink
fucking
some.
floor.
Yeah,
I
we'll
respect, you know what I mean? Yeah.
We'll take a
It's
sip
the least
for
you could do. It's the least you could do. He was a good guy, you know what I mean? He'll be missed now.
Omar will be back.
And his great job. Congratulations, brother.
Yeah. Omar will be back. Don't worry. Troy, you said you're cold?
Yeah, I'm freezing. I'm in here shivering. It's really, it's not my fault. If you're gonna blame anyone, you gotta blame Brad, my new roommate. You know what I mean?
What happened?
He's a fitness freak, Well, it's his fault. I haven't eaten bread in like 2 or 3 months.
Oh, damn.
And in doing so, it's helped me get my blood pressure down to a reasonable level. So I'm sitting here freezing. Yeah, I am shivering because I'm healthy. But no, it's not my fault. You know what I mean? I do miss bread. I think about it every day. I refuse. I can't. Because every time I go to eat bread, I think about Brad and his journey and his flight to success, and I'm like, nah, I want a piece of that. You know what I mean? I just want to feel the abs. It's not. It's,
Nah,
it's,
I want the bread.
yeah, no. If it's cooked right, I guess. I don't know.
Speaking of bread, we got 3 cans of bread right here. Here, grab one, fellas. This is the beer that we're trying out today. This is California 99 Golden Ale. I got these when I went camping not too long ago at Sequoia. I'm not sure. This is from the Central Valley. Brewed and canned by Tioga Sequoia Brewing Company, Fresno, California. Again, this is called Golden Ale. Let's try it out. Let me know how it tastes, boys.
They're actually pretty good. I already drank 2 of them.
Yeah, tastes delicious.
That's refreshing. That's really good, actually.
Yeah.
Fresno never tasted so good.
Yeah, right?
I had no idea.
There's a radio show that I used to listen to, Kevin and Bean. They had a syndication in Fresno, and their first address to Fresno was, "You guys call yourself Fresno, we call it Fres Yes." Yeah, it was just a cheesy joke. I never forgot it.
No, but dude, cheese sells. You know what I mean?
It does.
People fucking love cheese.
Yeah.
Another thing I miss. Ugh.
All
No,
right.
I'll still eat fucking cheese. I ain't that bad. I had cheese today. All right,
right,
delish. All right.
You want to talk about real quick about the new shows you're producing and are part of?
Anything you want to talk about, brother? Yeah, that's a big
Yeah,
part
dude.
of my life right now. I'm
Go
actually
ahead.
trying to take it to the next level and find a club to book it at. But I started doing I collabed with a rehab.
Okay.
They have a in living facility, a bunch of people that live there in this rehab.
It's a halfway house.
Yeah, I guess that's what they're called. I don't know, but I became friends with the owner. He wanted to entertain these people. They need constant entertainment.
Okay.
So I decided to put on a show once a month, and it's been a hell of a learning lesson. It's been really fun though. It's been a great time. The last one ended probably the most insane thing I've ever seen at a live show. It started with a fucking bang, dude. Oh my god, it started with a bang, and it fucking last one was ended with a bang. Guy Golly was headlining in the middle of his closing set. We lit him. And that's like a soft light, 2-3 minute, close it up. And after about 3 minutes after the light, we just set off like $1,500 of fireworks.
Allegedly.
Bro, painted the sky. It went on for about 2 minutes. He was just on. It sounded like gunshots at first. Everyone jumped and hit the floor. And then when he realized, he thought he was being heckled, but we were just trying to give the fans something. We were trying to give them their money's worth.
And he's Israeli, dude, so he's kind of used to it.
Yeah, right? No, he felt right at home. He didn't run. Once he realized there was no threat, he got right into it and started going, You know what I mean? He literally did. He got his phone out and started recording it. And
sick ass guy.
I posted a little clip about it. And he I don't know. He's gonna have his editing team run it over. So, dude, it was honestly like the funniest thing I've ever seen. It was so unexpected. You know what I mean? I couldn't imagine being in his shoes, trying your hardest in front of a bunch of freaking addicts, and then freaking fireworks going off.
Was it a tough crowd? Or
He had no idea. Is it a tough crowd? Wow. Well, if you're listening at the rehab, I love all of you, but with the exception of a handful of guys missing all of their teeth, it can be a really tough crowd.
Oh shit!
For some reason, I don't know if it's because of the they're all sober, and I don't know, but I think a lot of it has to do with a lot of them had tough lives. And when you're in a rehab, a lot of those people, they're criminals by nature, and they're funny. They're funny people. They're always ragging on each other. So if you come in with that weak sauce, you're gonna get fucking a bunch of blank stares.
You gotta hand out cigarettes before the show.
You gotta like scare them. You know what I mean? You gotta get their attention right off the bat. Or just be extremely funny. I would recommend that as well. But no, I mean, I've struggled big time up there, and I give them good material, but a lot of it, is your energy. When you're putting on and producing the show, there's so much on your shoulders, so it's so hard to really be in the moment, concentrate in your set and focus on the crowd, because I was so stressed out, especially my first show. That was like the craziest experience I've ever had with stand-up. Oh my God, bro. Like the show started like 8 o'clock or something like that. And my dumb ass I was like thinking in my head, I'll hire headliners, funny people, and give the audience the best. I didn't know headliners traditionally 100% of the time show up like an hour into the show. None of them show up on time because they're fucking headliners. You know what I mean? Yeah. So my show starts at, let's say 8. It's 8:15 and there's 2 comics there. I'm not going to start a show. And everyone's seated, listening to music, waiting for me to come out there and dance like a monk. And there's 2 comics. I'm like, I can't. And I was having a panic attack. No one's answering their phones. You know what I mean? I'm in the street, like, calling all these comics, like, where are you? Thank God everyone showed up, and it turned out to be amazing. But the stress from that was unbelievable. And the second show, it never ends. It rolled right over. The second one, I booked a pretty big headliner. And the show, again, started around... I think that we started a little earlier, maybe like 7, and we're planning on putting him up at like 8:30 and have him close it out. And he comes up to me at like 6:45, maybe as the show started. I think the show might have started. He goes, I got to be at the Comedy Store at 9. He's like, I got to be out there at 8:30, so slap me in wherever. So now my headliner's going up 3rd, you know what I mean, 4th. Now I'm walking around looking at these comics like, who can headline?
Fucking
so,
you.
Me?
You,
yeah, right. Well, I mean, like I've been surprised at the amount of sets I've done up there once I get comfortable. The amount of time, because I would, my last show I planned on doing 10 minutes, maybe like 7, 10, and I did like 17. But I get comfortable with it, and I try to take a little ownership. And then that's a good thing about hiring funny people or having funny friends as comics go on the show is when they kill, it makes it so easy, and you don't want to get off. Even though, as you say, it's a backyard show. Ouch, my kid. Ouch. No, it's okay. It's all right. It's pretty accurate. It's in a backyard. It's pretty close to the airport. Planes fly over, constantly interrupting everyone's sets.
Inglewood?
No, not Inglewood, baby. The Valley. The freaking Burbank Airport. Dude, it's nonstop. But the good comics roll with it, and they, they
I didn't mean no disrespect.
No, it's all good. No, it's hilarious. It is a backyard show.
So it's called what?
Well, the production, the stuff we put it on was by Laugh Addicts, but for the rehab, we called it Last Chance Comedy.
Last Chance.
Yeah, it's got like a needle, Last Chance.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of dark, but if you get to know me, you'll understand why. It makes a lot of sense.
And how can you follow that show? How can you
well, Laugh Addicts has an account, and then people who try to get booked and stuff like that, they can either message Laugh Addicts or me directly. I wanted to have someone go in as a partner. Co-producer. I just want to be a fucking comedian. You know what I mean? I'm not a producer for shows. I barely can write. You know what I mean? I just want to go up there and speak my truth.
I'm also illiterate.
Right. Well, you're not illiterate because I've heard your material. It's autistic. It's autistic, not illiterate. No, I'm kidding, Mike. I'm kidding. It's beautiful.
Yeah, we'll put a link to the Instagram because I've seen it right here, Producer Jay.
Oh, for my Instagram? Or for the Laugh Acts? Yeah. And then I'm trying to. It's been a uphill battle trying to find a consistent editor to make clips because these shows go 2 hours. You know what I mean? I'll have 7, 8 comedians, and I don't have the mental endurance to sit there and chop up clips of a 2-hour show. And it's and that's what I'm trying to put some promotional stuff out. commercial style edits, so people get an idea what's about. Because I feel like once people, once they realize it's for a rehab and everyone there is sober, they'll realize the cause, and there's a lot more in the root of that. And that kind of helps because there's a lot of comedians, high level comedians I've met in Hollywood who are dedicated their lives to being sober. And a few of them have offered, to help me out and do anything they can for free, which is very nice because they didn't really know that at first. They had no idea. This whole last chance thing, they thought it was me being goofy. They didn't know it was a whole rehab, specifically for rehab. So the first few shows were really like a test run to see how they went.
So how many have you done at this point?
3. I'm booking for my 4th right now.
Cool.
It's exciting. The first few were a test run, kind of see how the owners of the rehab, how they liked it and stuff. So far, they seem to love it. It's been getting better each show.
Yeah, I think you got Joe on there, no?
Joe, bro. Joe did the craziest thing I've ever seen at a live show. The craziest thing I've ever seen at a comedy show, period.
And we're talking about Joe Menente.
The one, the only, the legend, dude.
Yeah, the second coming.
When you say Joe Menente, I gotta take a sip. You know what I mean? It's just ritual. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Even though he's sober himself.
Now I'm just preparing my mind to think about this man. It's there's so much. My mind goes crazy.
Yeah, he's an animal.
Well, when people compare me to him, it's an honor. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But he talks about having these T levels, being in peak fitness at 43 and alone. I'm like, fuck, is this a vision of my future? Anyways, what were you asking me about? Oh, was Joe on my show?
Yeah.
So my first show was out of control, man. Some of the people that lived in the facility invited their families, right? So there was like this one Mexican family there, and this guy was like covered in face tattoos. There are a lot of these guys are, they've had a rough life, and you can kind of tell. So you kind of give them respect and leave them alone. That's what all the comics did because they're there to have a good time with their families. You know, Joe had other ideas.
But Joe's from Oakland.
Joe doesn't give a fuck. Okay. Yeah. There was a girl. There was this family in the back, and they had 2 kids that were walking through the audience, kind of doing whatever they wanted throughout the show. And it's a very adult, very X-rated show. I mean, I'm hiring comedians. I'm not giving them any. I'm saying say whatever you want to. I'm not giving them any barriers at all. So they're letting it rip. And they see kids out there, and they look at me, and I'm like, dude, you know what I mean? If the parents want to let them hear it, I'm not gonna sacrifice the good of everybody for a kid. Yeah. Well, this girl goes up there, is like talking to all the comics, and during their set, right? And Joe, she starts talking during Joe's set, and he's like, can someone come parent this child? And everyone laughs, right? And the dad in the back busts out laughing, and Joe goes, "Oh, great, you're laughing, another future whore." And he said it, bro. He said it right to her face. He said it. I crumbled in the inside. I was like, "Oh God," because I knew like her dad. I've seen him up close. I'm like, he's not gonna take that. Yeah. Turned out he loved it, man. He thought it was the funniest thing. He thought it was hilarious because turns out he had 8 kids. So he couldn't get far enough away from his kids. He was like, "Say whatever you want to say, mijo. You're good." Man. So, and then the headliner was in the back, and he's like, he's in the back, right? And I'm like, I asked him, I'm like, "What are you going to open with?" He's like, "I'm going after the little girl." I'm like, Jesus, bro. That was Shang. He's a freaking animal. I've never seen a comedian, at least not yet, like him. Yeah. He's very unique. Yeah.
Who is he? I don't think I met him.
Shang. I think his last name's Forbes. I saw him. I saw him do my show, which is, that's its own experience. But I saw him at the main room of the Improv, right? And every time he would kill, and the whole room he'd get a huge pop. He'd take the microphone and go, "Ah!" and just scream out loud. It was so. I was jealous. I was like, that's beautiful.
How do you book these guys? If you don't mind me asking.
You can just hit them up directly. A lot of these guys will work for money, and then if you put it in the
I bet.
Well, no, honestly,
I bet they do.
Not trying to be a dick, but if you put in the bio, it's a rehab show for people in a rehab, the sober living, and obviously I'm putting the rate right up front. I'm trying to make it worth their time, and I'm not demanding any ticket sales, anything like that. And there's always a free food and amenities for the comedians. So when I try to make it a good offer, you'd have to hate sober living and rehabs to turn it down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, $50 and a Coke.
Well, like I'm trying to get Eric Griffin right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, him or
have you had any luck or not?
For some reason, the lady who books the show, and I'm not saying this, she loves Darren Carter, so she wants to get Darren Carter. He has a flashlight. He's always like, "I like my woman like I like my," and you yell something out. So it's like a heckle show, but he like turns it into gold every time.
okay.
Yeah, he has good sets too, but that's kind of what he's known for.
This is so cool about LA that there's just so many of them. Here.
Yeah, it's never ending. And if
Yeah.
you get in at certain clubs, you get opened up to that door of their regulars, which is why I'm trying to get in at a club right now myself. But man, it's just a learning experience. I'm just strictly trying to book the funniest people who are the most confident, because you have to be confident and you have to be funny to perform. Because I've seen very confident, very funny people kind of not do very well.
Yeah.
When they go out there and there's like people with no teeth going, just looking at them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this is what it is. This is their life. You know what I mean? It's sad.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think that we might be the only thing that keeps them from a fucking overdose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like us being goofy might keep them, in my mind, on the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
I like to think that, you know?
Burn time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get
Well,
their mind off that heroin.
Well, not only that, but so a lot of these, like I said, a lot of these people are funny. People from the East Coast, the ball busting, they're naturally funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when they see someone like me, they're like, "Wait, you're a comedian?" And then they think, "Oh, wait, I could do that." I'm like, I'm encouraging them 100%.
Yeah,
Like
go ahead.
that's the best drug you'll ever do, baby.
Yeah.
Go do a 5-minute set.
Yeah.
You're gonna experience life. You know, that whoo, you feel that sweat good on your forehead. That's better than opiates. I swear to God.
Oh, yeah.
It beats fentanyl 10 out of 10.
There's nothing like telling a joke and you're hearing complete silence.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can do that in your car on the way to the mic. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: if you say a joke, because I've been, with the hosting, seeing so many comics go, do their things. You might just, dude. You might have said something really funny, and maybe we just didn't understand what the fuck you said. Maybe you
Yeah.
mispronounced it, or you speak too fast.
Yeah.
That I can't tell you how many times someone has said something funny. I no one laughed. I didn't hear what the fuck because we didn't hear what you said. You
What?
said it too fast.
Yeah.
And then I'll ask them after, and they'll explain to me. I'm like, dude,
That was hilarious.
don't kill yourself. That's actually funny.
Yeah. Troy hosts with the 8 and 9 o'clock mic. Or?
Oh God. Well, on consistently, I host Monday, Wednesday, Saturdays.
At the fourth wall
yeah,
in North
Mondays
Hollywood.
is nights. Wednesdays are nights, and Saturdays is like freaking all day.
You need a comedy mentor. This man is the man to talk to. At Troy Stud.
Yeah, and here's the thing about that. Thank you, Mike. People ask me for advice and shit, and I'm like, dude, only take advice from someone you want to be, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
if you look up to that person, so like, I tell people, like, don't listen to me. I'm a fucking idiot, right? I'm still trying to figure my own shit out. So if like I would never take anyone's concrete, because like there's so many comedians want to give you so much advice. You know what I mean? Like, oh, don't do this. Don't hold the mic this way. Don't wear these colors on stage.
Don't
you
sit
know?
down.
Don't say the N word. It's like, let me live my life, bro. You know what I mean? Let me live my life. If I want to crash and burn, there's a crowd of people that like that. You know what I mean? There's an army that'll get behind me. You know what I mean?
I think the one that's easiest to look up to is so far for me is obviously you, Joe, and then there's Mike Sasson.
Oh God, Sasson is a
That
man.
guy's an animal.
He's a fucking man.
Mike was
I
hilarious.
totally I had told a black joke and like I totally like pussed out and said African American instead of black. Yeah.
And he was like, lean in.
Yeah. Pussy.
Yeah.
Say it.
Well, he's a little telepathic. He knows your mind. He knew where you're going with it.
Yeah.
He just wants you to be the best. He wants you to just
Oh yeah.
be
no.
yourself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just go for it.
Yeah, Mike, you're an animal.
Yeah, dude. No, he was the guy who ended up headlining my show when that comedian couldn't.
Yeah.
Dude, what a fucking oh God, I love you, Mike, but you put me through hell that night because I kept asking him. Right? I was like, Mike, can you headline? And he just laughed at me. He just smirked and wouldn't answer me. He's like, pfft.
Come
And
on.
I was like, all right. I mean, okay. I was like, okay, so duh, you can headline, right? I'm like,
Is
okay,
the sky
so
blue?
I just kept asking him, like, can you do 20? Can you do 25?
30, 40.
He just wouldn't answer me.
Yeah.
He just was like, he's like, I got this. And so in my head, I'm like, this is 50-50. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is going to be really good, or he's going to go up there and look for the light in 15 minutes. I mean, I knew he had a lot of material, but I just didn't know how much time.
Yeah.
Because I was expecting my headliner to do over 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So Mike goes up there and does 40 minutes, maybe like 45 minutes. A material I've never heard before.
Yeah, nonstop. Yeah, that guy,
I never heard
yeah.
it. Because I watch him every day at the fourth wall, So I'm expecting to hear a lot of that. None of it. It was all just stuff he had in the bag.
And when we had Mike on the show, he was fucking
Yeah,
hilarious.
Oh God! You want to
He
know
was
why?
fucking
He needs to hear
hilarious.
one thing that pisses him off, and he can create a full hour of hate.
Because he grew up. Me and him have similar dads. You know what I mean? Like our parents, we were the mistakes. You know, I don't know. I can't speak for Mike, but like we were not fucking planned. You know what I mean? We shouldn't be here. You know?
And hold on, before we get to family trauma, you did a show at the Comedy Store recently.
Yeah, I did.
Talk about that.
Well,
please.
Well, if we're gonna talk about family trauma, I gotta write something down because I want to come back to it. It's about my dad doing cocaine.
Is he still haunting that house or no?
I don't know. We sold it.
All right,
I didn't get a fucking penny out of it, by the way. Yeah. So if anyone's watching this thinking I'm out here in California living my dreams off my daddy's fucking money,
Nah.
False.
oh, there's nothing funnier than that.
I lent Troy.
Didn't get a penny.
I lent Troy $20 a few days ago.
Dude, I swear to God, I want to fucking. I have bad thoughts, but Comedy Store, great thoughts. That was absolutely, honestly, the highlight of my fucking life.
How'd it come about?
The hype. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
I'm saying that sarcastically. The hype behind that is so justified.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you hear about that room, 100% real. I've never experienced a night like that in my life. Just all around the build up to it, the pressure. I could talk about it for a minute. I don't know. I was in fucking bed depressed after thinking about Father's Day. I was smoking a bunch of weed and didn't want to get out of bed. And a promoter hit me up and offered me the show.
Really?
I thought my phone was glitching. I was like, absolutely, and just showed up like it was a regular, just any other show. I didn't put any pressure into it. I didn't think about the venue at all. I'm like, this is just gonna be any regular show I've done 1,000 times, because I didn't want to fucking freak myself out. I got to the store. The room was fairly empty. I'm like, oh, great. Just a regular, typical show, right?
Yeah.
Wrong. I go downstairs in the hallway with another comedian. We're just kind of pacing. I look up and Tim Dillon standing right there. Tim Dillon, who's one of my favorite human beings alive. Not just comedians, but human beings.
Yeah.
And he kind of, I think he could feel my energy being like shitting my pants. He just kind of smirked at me and just penguin wild onto the main room and fucking murdered for 15 minutes.
Oh, really? Damn.
And I wouldn't watch Tim murder, and seeing him do his thing really put me in my element of like.
I thought he moved. No.
Well, I don't know where he lives. I'm just telling you what happened. I'm not sure where he lives, but he did his set in the main room and murdered, and then that kind of, I felt. Well, it's great when you can start your night off with a huge laugh. You know what I mean? I was genuinely laughing, and that took a lot of the nervousness away. And I went up to the green room, man, and the show started at 10. I didn't go up to like 11:20. Like I was like an hour or 15 in. I went up like 2 before the headliner. I have never heard an audience in a room murder that long consistently for an hour straight. It was just nothing but pops for an hour. So that's when I got nervous because I've never heard I've never heard a room consistently murder. Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting there thinking like I cannot be the fucking lull. You know? Like I know I'm funny, but like these guys are killers, or at least they're performing up to what's expected, So I didn't even want to hear the material. I just wanted to focus on my first 2 sentences. That's all I was focused on. Was the first 2. If I could just get the first sentence out without fucking stuttering, I'll be good. Mm-hmm. So and then right before I go on stage, the comedians come back and they're like, "There's a NFL lineman in the front row. He ended up being the starting center for the Rams."
Oh, really?
And he's sitting he's sitting right in the front row, and all the comedians were fucking with him, and he wouldn't laugh at anybody. They're like, "Oh, this guy's an asshole. He's not laughing at anybody."
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll get him, because I got this fucking CT material about my dad shit. I knew he was, that's made for a football player.
Yeah.
And right before I go on stage, the host goes, "Here's your next comedian, blah, blah." She goes, "He also played football, so you might be in for it," and looks at this guy, right? Yeah. And she brings me up, and half the crowd's clapping, and the other half the crowd's going, "Ooh." Yeah. So I walk up on stage, I grab the mic, I look at him, I'm like, "Oh, you ain't that big." And, pop. That's really all it took to get the momentum going. He was huge. He was like he was like twice my size. This fool's like this. And then I just remember like 2 minutes in my set, I looked with a glance of my eye, and I saw him spit his drink out. I'm like, "Oh, I got this fucker." Yeah, I got him.
Yeah. Who is the starting center for the Rams?
Some big white boy.
Oh, yeah. Do you know? Yeah. Anybody know?
Damn.
No, all right. No, it doesn't matter.
He was a rookie last year, so it's not like he's been in the league for a little while.
My bad, it doesn't matter.
He had a good sense of humor. I think all the comedians were confusing his resting bitch face for him being mean. I'm like, that's just what an offensive lineman looks like, bro. They're just tormented on the inside. You know what I mean? The CPS intervened at a very young age, and now they hit people for a living because that's legal, and they get rewarded for it. I remember the first time I knocked someone's helmet off, and they said, "Good job." I was like, "What? I'm not in trouble?" I legitimately thought I was going to get yelled at. You know, I'm like, you reward this type of behavior, and now they're fucking paying these people. God, dude. Oh,
yeah. Times when you're that big, dude, like your face starts to,
the linemen.
Yeah,
fucking
with the helmets too.
They look. I've lined up across some monsters who look really freaking retarded with their squished on faces. They look like little sumo wrestlers. My first start in college, the guy who started across me was a big Samoan guy. He was 450 pounds. Yeah, and he got in his stance like a sumo, and he got right down. And dude, I swear to God, his first play of the game, he looks right at me and spits a mouthful of blood right in my face. Oh, dude, you could have asked me what color is this guy? I don't know. You know what I mean? What's your name? I don't know. I wanted to kill this fucking fat ass. That's all I wanted. Literally wanted to kill him. What he did worked. He got in my head, but then I took his ACL, so we got even. You know what I mean? It happens. Well, no, there's no allegedly about it. No, to be completely honest, it was a high-low. It was some dirty shit. Our center was Canadian, and he had no problem fucking with somebody. And shout out to Bigum. And he held him up pretty nice for me. I came in and just, tripped. Oops, landed on his knee. Oops, my bad. Didn't see you. But no, I would never intentionally hurt a football player in a football game.
Of course not.
That's why I'm wearing my favorite player today.
O.J. Simpson?
In honor of the greatest running back in Bills history. It's been tied between him and I don't know who, what, Reggie Bush,
Bill Romanowski?
Yeah, boring. I'm kidding. I'm a Bills fan, but I'm not that hardcore, I have to keep my sanity, Between being a Bills fan and Ohio State fan, it's too much heartbreak every year.
Well, I like the Paul Postlosny.
Who?
Paul Postlosny. He played for the Bills for...
Okay. Yeah. Was he like a linebacker or something?
Yeah, he's like a no-neck.
Yeah, I remember that fool. I remember playing him on Madden back when I was like, before my balls dropped. Yeah,
he was an animal.
He was, I think. He was a white boy, too.
Yeah.
I just liked how you're out here giving respect to the white boys, boy. That's why I like you, Mike. Oh. I heard calling white linebackers animals. This you don't hear that very often.
He was, dude.
It's a dying breed.
One of my favorite other linebackers, Takeo Spikes, is really good.
Yeah. He was a really good linebacker. Yeah. Real good linebacker.
Brian Urlacher was an animal, too.
There it is, 6'3". Yeah.
Luke Kuechly.
Oh, yeah, Luke Kuechly.
I'm a fucking linebacker, bro. I should play linebacker. My dad corrupted my brain thinking I'm some fucking offensive lineman because he was in the 70s. Just because you played in the NFL in the 70s, hey, lots changed. That's why me and him got a lot of arguments about it, but he kept telling me you're too slow.
I think Terry Bradshaw said it. The average weight of a lineman back in the 70s was 250.
He would tell me stories about the Steelers doing cocaine 2 weeks before their Super Bowl. The offensive line doing coke in a room doing coke with them. These guys were drug addicts. I'm pretty sure there was guys in the NBA back then who would smoke cigarettes on the court.
Yeah. You haven't seen
I would have dominated. I would have either dominated or I would have had no teeth. I don't know. They're different fucking breed, man.
Kenny Stabler used to leave the bar at 4 or 5 in the morning, and then just go to the stadium, take a little nap, and then play.
What's crazy is I talk about my dad playing in the NFL, and people think I have money and shit. I'm like, dude, he told me at least half of the team, and I'm not talking about the guys trying to make the team. Half of the fucking team had summer jobs. They didn't even make enough money to not work in the summer. They had to work in the summer to pay their family. He played with Roman Gabriel, who was a millionaire or whatever, but the majority of the team, there was no salary cap like there is today. Plumbers, I think they were making pennies in the dollar compared to so nowadays you're more incentivized to stay in college. I'd stay in college and ball on 18-year-olds. Why go pro? Shit, you can make that type of money in college and transfer around, and you're calling the shots. Your coach is really the bitch. What's he going to do, yell at me? Tell me to run sprints? I'll transfer. You know what I mean?
There's a quarterback from, I think, A&M that just turned down $8 million to transfer.
No, it's insane, bro. I can't even think about it.
From South Carolina.
Sorry.
When I was trying to get an education in my life, when I was trying to be a good boy, that was my goal, was to be an agent for the NFL, obviously. And in my mind, I was like, well, if I don't play in the league, at least make a fucking training camp. I don't have the credentials to be an agent. So I kind of gave up on that. But now these agents are freaking, you're basically, if you're a high school football coach, you're an agent. I mean, they're throwing they're bringing up bags of money. I mean, Texas, It's insane. It's insane.
I don't want to upset you.
No, don't upset me. I'm jealous, you know. And shit, if anything, it's motivating. If I were to do anything else in my life, it would be something with college football. Yeah. I don't know.
Just be a scumbag.
Well, no,
take 40%.
It's not a scumbag because you're helping people. It's a way out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like
helping out.
But at the same time, once you get to a certain point of growth as a man, you see football, and you're like, this is pretty fucking stupid. You know what I mean? Like the fact that I'm destroying my body so no one crosses this line. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you could play and not get hurt, it's the most beautiful thing on earth. But I don't know.
No, I recently rewatched that South Park episode with the student athletes.
Oh yeah, that's hilarious. yeah. They that's what cost so many of the guys I played with who had freaking legitimate SEC offers who didn't even go Division II because they didn't even go to class. They were just there to ball out. It sucks, but yeah, you got like get an education, which is I don't understand why. I mean, I don't know. I think you'll see some drastic changes to the college football market in the next year or two. Like this conference realignment is retarded. Like they got to do something about that because it doesn't just affect the football teams, now the swimming teams, right? Like all these low budget teams now they got like travel all the way across the country to go play tennis or it's
like being in the Big Ten is stupid.
It breaks my heart. I'm a Big Ten guy. Yeah. You know, and the Pac-12 had their best year, and then they split them up. Why?
I know. Seriously,
they went out on top. They were dogs. They were beating the best conferences, and they split them up.
6-1
in the bowl games.
You know what
it
it
is?
is?
Bowl games.
It's that Southern pride. That's what ruined college football. SEC.
Man, I hate this.
Yeah, but that's really what fucking ruined it, bro.
Yeah, it really
because
did.
all these the hype. The kids thought the hype was real. Oh, if I can't play in the SEC and get fucking money, why am I gonna go? I'm not gonna go play or even start in the Pac-12. So, but what ended up happening? The last year, they ended up coming out on top.
And then before Saban got there, like Alabama was getting beat by Rice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember that. That's ancient history.
Yeah.
This is 2004.
That's the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
I'm just a bitter old man.
Oh shit! Who are you?
Yeah, no. Before
well, you look great for 26, Mike.
Before Saban, Alabama was trash.
Before Saban,
Alabama was trash.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what
6-7, 5-3, or 5-8.
The best thing that
they
produced was D'Amico Ryans. He got drafted by the Texans in the 6th round.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Now.
Who? Alabama? You talking about Alabama?
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what they do at North Carolina with the Patriots head coach there.
Oh man,
so exciting! Well, he's legit. He's the real deal.
Yeah, he's a great coach. But I don't.
Well, as a Bills fan, you know, we grew up watching Tom Brady just rape us with no lube every year, and it was very painful. It was like it kind of reminded me of my jail experience. But no, I'm kidding. No, I'm not. But growing up hating the Patriots, you end up developing respect for them.
No, I have zero respect for the Patriots. Fuck the Patriots.
But Belichick is ancient.
They did it with Tom Brady.
Yeah.
No. Well, all right.
Regret it.
Huh?
2 Super Bowls. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
2?
No, took away from the Rams.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, you're a Rams.
I'm a Rams fan.
You're an LA Rams.
No. Not. I was a Rams fan before they were in LA.
I respect the Oakland fans, you know what I mean? Right. Just because they've been through a lot. And that's the only thing you have in common with Buffalo Bills people. We've been through a lot. You LA Rams, you guys have the sunshine. We have nothing in common. You know what I mean? You guys tailgate in the sun. That's why no one cares in LA, because you guys have beautiful women, beaches, in the sun.
No, you were not allowed to tailgate, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Like if you try to go to the Dodger game and tailgate, you're not allowed.
Even more of a reason not to be a Rams fan. You know what I mean?
That's just Dodger
You can't tailgate. Have fun going to a Rams game and dodging ice. So fun. Fuck that, bro. Now having said that, I would go. I would go to the game just to be like, this shit sucks. This shit sucks. Now, I'm not that big of an NFL fan. I ride hard for Josh Allen. I'm not that big of an. I'm an Ohio State guy. That's my thing. So if you really want to hurt me, start talking about Michigan, and I'll be paying deeply. I used to think it was a good topic of conversation. Like when I used to work in the strip clubs, everybody used to love OJ, and that was like a big thing. He's definitely a murderer. Murdered last night. No. Dude, honestly, I thought it was like I didn't really care until I saw that new documentary that came out about him. And I was like, oh, he did that shit.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's fuck, bro. Like, he did that shit. Like,
no dodging. He was a running back, but he couldn't.
Yeah.
damn. Like, yeah, that new documentary, I honestly didn't want to wear this after that. But like, but this has been sitting in my car. I didn't want to wear it on stage. I was like, I might as well wear it, let the people see it. You know what I'm saying? Well, my mom bought it for.
In your car?
Huh?
She was dying.
Yeah, it was just dying out in the back seat like Nicole on the sidewalk. But no, my mom bought it for me. She has a real crazy sense of humor. So, she was like, "Where's the OJ shirt? Where's the OJ shirt?" She has no idea what's going on here.
Yeah.
She keeps calling me up. She's like, yeah.
It'll kill, yeah.
She's like, "You still talking about me out there?" I'm like, yeah. Believe it or not, yeah. I got so much to say. You know what I mean?
And speaking of prison, you said you wanted to talk to us about.
I had a funny story. Yeah, that was a bit that I used to talk about on stage, and then, to be honest, the bit was working. It was getting big laughs because it was 90% bullshit lies, but there was some truth sprinkled in there. There was some truth just salt bait in there.
Tell us the truth part of it.
Yeah, right. And then I was doing it, and these really funny black comedians would come up to me, and they'd be like, "Yo, dude," after my set, they'd be like, "Man, you're funny and shit. But, like, you ain't gotta do all that gay shit." You know what I mean? and when they said that to me, I was like, I resonated. Man. I was like, "Wow, you're good point. Thanks for pointing that out." So I cut that out of my act because these are dudes I respected. And then it wasn't until a new group of other really really funny other new black guys. Yeah. Came into my life, thank God, right? Because once you go black, you never go back. And they were like, "Stud, that shit is your truth. That's funny, and the world needs to fucking hear it, right?" So in between me not wanting to do this, and in between me wanting to do it, I did it a few times, and there's a lot of developments that happened, which I'd be more than happy to talk about because it's very funny. What happened, and then what happened after I started talking about it publicly. So
first, tell us what you did and how long you were locked up.
I got locked up. The feds arrested me when I was 14. I got felony probation. So and then I ended up really going for a probation violation is what happened. Okay. Right. So the date of arrest the date of arrest ended up on the paperwork was like 2008, 2009. Date of incarceration was like 2013. So that gives you an idea of how long the legal system can wait to fuck you.
Yeah.
That gives you an idea of how long I had to live with pins and needles in my stomach every fucking month, not knowing, So anyways, I grew up with my older brother in and out of the system his whole life. He was a lifer, He lived by the streets and he unfortunately died by the streets. He told me he was going to do it and he fucking did it. So I can't even be mad at him, you know what I mean? Like, if you're going to do something and you have a smile on your face, I can't be mad at you, baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just...
committed.
I'm gonna miss you. You know what I'm saying? But
he was committed.
Yeah, he was definitely committed. Yeah. He's like, I ain't going back. And he did it. You know what I mean? He did it.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
He was the type of guy, unfortunately, that they'd be like, "Did you hear what Brandon did?" I'm like, "No." They'd be like, "Turn the TV on," and then my stomach would drop. I'm like, fuck. And you'd see him on the news, like, just fuck. You know what I mean? Good guy. He was a good guy. But listen, so let's not get sidetracked there. God rest his sweet soul. He was a good guy. For some weird reason, I was. This was my first year I was playing college football. Actually, it was my second year. I was in my first year in California. Mm-hmm. We just won a national championship. I just got a ring, and I flew home that Christmas to see my family, and they grabbed me. The probation department grabbed me, and they locked me up over the Christmas visit. And I was looking at a lot of time. And to my coach's credit, they helped me out and vouched for me to the justice system. And I got a new judge, which is huge, because the old judge was going off of bias. The new judge was going off of evidence. Big difference. Yeah. Thank God, right? Turned out she was a woman. It was a white woman that let me that looked out, that didn't ruin my fucking life. This other dude was gonna ruin my life over nothing.
Yeah.
But long story short, I got a pretty reduced sentence with the with the understanding that, you turn yourself in this day, you get released in this day, and if you get in any trouble in between, we're gonna bump you, get full sentence. You do the full term.
Okay.
So if someone pulls a knife from me while I'm in jail and I defend myself and I get charged for the assault, I'm doing 2 years.
Okay.
My football career is over. Under no exceptions can I get in any. I can't put myself in any situation. Second I get in there, dude pulls out a ball crack size of a softball. Hey, you want some? Just seeing that could put me back in there. You know what I mean? So But I was prepared for that with my brother and stuff because he gave me a good heads up. What I wasn't prepared for was the events that took place after this that ended up
the homosexual activity
that ended up forming my life and made me a real funny guy.
I bet.
It's fucked, dude. It's so fucked up. So I wasn't supposed to be in prison, to be honest. I was supposed to be housed in a jail. And when I got there, a blizzard hit. And there was overpopulation, so they moved me to the prison because there was overpopulation.
Like a blizzard in New York.
Yeah, right. A typical summer day.
Hell yeah.
So, one morning, every morning, they call a lineup of numbers for guys to go take their medicine, right? Okay. And they call my number, and I'm like, "Why are you guys waking me up? I'm not fucking. I don't need nothing." And they're like, "Oh, you got a visitor. Go downstairs at this time, whatever. You can have a visitor." So, I was like, who the hell wants to see me? I was kind of shocked. Long story short, I go downstairs and I'm sitting on the table. I'm nervous. I'm worried. You know, I'm honestly pretty nervous. I'm still a kid. In my mind, I'm just a college football player. I'm a student athlete. But in this predicament, you know, I'm a man of the people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. These shot clocks get your paperwork. You better hope you aren't in there for. Better hope it's drug charges. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you don't know what I'm saying. I shouldn't say it to people about this. But no, the visitor came in. I'm sitting there, and ended up my brother walks in.
Oh shit!
And it was like a fucking scene out of a movie. It was straight up a scene out of a movie. He walks in. He knew all the prison guards by their first name. They knew him. He's walking in, dabbing up the guards. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Yeah. Because he's a free man, and this is the first time they've seen him out on the outside. Yeah. And they're like, oh, what's up, stud? You coming back? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, hey, fuck you, blah, blah. And he walks down, sits right in front of me, right? And he gives me the typical rundown. We had an hour to talk. I think he visited me for 5 minutes. Maybe fucking 4 minutes. He wasn't there. He was there less than 10 minutes. Uh-huh. Right? He tells me, don't take anything from anyone. Don't take anything from anyone. Like nothing. He's like, don't talk to these people, blah, blah. And just keep your head down. You'll be out of here. And then he gets up, and as he's fucking leaving, in front of the whole pod, so everyone, because he leaves early. He was the first person to leave. He made me feel like an asshole. I'm sitting there alone. I want to fucking cry, dude. He gets up. He walks across the pod. Everyone there can see him. He turns around, looks at me, and starts winking. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, what is this? Why are you winking at me? Is this code? Are you trying to tell me something? And he just leaves, dabs up the guards, and leaves. I'm like, what the fuck was that? In my head, I'm like, what the fuck? Did I miss something? I just fucked up. I didn't get it. So I go in the next room. They're like, all right, back to your cell. So the guard takes you into a room. You go into another room. He's like, hands on the wall. So I put my hands up on the wall. Next thing you know, this dude shoves his fingers up my ass. No fucking warning. No warning. No nothing. He didn't tell me shit, bro. There's no welcome to jail. Prepare your asshole because it's about to get fingered by an old bald guy. You know what I mean? There was none of that. So I was like, whoa! You know what I mean? And that happened. So fast forward, I get out of jail. My brother's standing there waiting to pick me up. He's standing outside prison. And I walk out, and the first thing he says to me, he goes, hey, little bro did his first bid. And he goes, you got your fucking cherry popped. And I was like, bro, you motherfucker. I knew right then and there I knew he was behind this. Yeah. I knew right then and there he was behind this. Why would you say that to me? Yeah. First thing he said to me, you got your cherry popped, right? Turns out, if you get a visitor, it's part of the prison protocol. They finger you to make sure you didn't get any contraband. I didn't fucking know that. My brother knew that. So he came and visited me just so I would get fingered. Because he knew what they were going to do. So he came and he literally just popped in and popped out so I would get fingered. Because he was like, who's the bitch now? That was the other thing he said to me. He's outside the jail going, who's the bitch now? I'm like, bro. I'm like, God, I hate your guts.
It was bound to happen either way, right?
So what's crazy is I would do these jokes about it.
So you're gonna get another visitor, right?
If they're well, now if you go to visit someone in jail and they're all excited, that's a sign. You know what I mean? Homie, why are you so excited, bro? Like, if the dude's like, go ahead, leave, you can leave now. It's like, I know what's about to happen. No, yeah, there's a lot of unspoken knowledge that can be formed from this information. But what's crazy, bro? So I had this bit that was pretty good about it. It was pretty funny. I had a lot of punchlines. A lot. I had like 4 punchlines. They were just tags that would roll off of the story, right? It was all just crazy. It was all just crazy exaggerations. And I would be like, there's pros and cons of going to prison. You know, I mean, You know, the pro. I'm like the con. I'm like the con is.
One of the pros.
I was like the con. I was like the con is I found out I'm a bitch immediately. The pro is the hardest ever came in my life. Something like that. And I would talk about. Yeah. So you guys are fucking laughing. Yeah. It would get laughs.
Please repeat that.
My truth, my pain would always get laughs when I would tell this story. It would always get laughs. No, people are like, this is fun. You know what I mean? I want to hear about the white boy getting fingered. Yeah. They're like, keep going, white boy. Keep going. So what's crazy is I had all these jokes, and I had jokes about like me, you know, like it was the hardest ever came in my life. The guards figuring me, I scored it. He looks at me, I look at him. I'm like, don't stop. And I would end my set. I'm like, all right, that's my time choice. So like, nice to see you. I would end my set in that huge laugh, right? And then those black dudes checked me. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll stop doing this joke. So in between, I started running I stopped doing it at shows, right? I just lost all confidence in it. I'm like, this is maybe I don't want this to be my thing. So I started doing it at mics in front of other comics, and they were coming up to me, giving me tags for it. And when I found out, so at one of these mics, there was this dude that came in there that was covered in tattoos, like completely covered head to toe. Clearly, he was like a banger, right? So I started talking. He'd been to prison. He'd been to prison in New York.
Okay.
He was like, where were you locked up? So I told him where I was locked up. He's like, what years were you locked up? Told him what years I was locked up. He's like, by the way, just so you know, that's not jail protocol.
Oh, damn.
He said, homie, you got a huge lawsuit in your hand. He's like, if you can prove that, you can sue the fuck out of New York State. I'm like, yeah, so that's gonna be my identity on the news. I got fingered. Remember that movie Freddie Got Fingered? Troy got fingered. So now it fucks me up even deeper because my brother's dead and I can't ask him. But I started talking to people about this who are street savvy and shit. And they're like, what happened is your brother fucking paid that guard to finger you, bro. They're like, that's what fucking happened. They're like, I'm telling you, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Shit, probably a pack of cigarettes. These miserable fucks. These miserable fucks. What a miserable piece of shit. If you're a prison guard, you know what? I hope you could try to do something else in your life. Because a lot of these prison guards are like, I do it for the benefits. Yeah, well, there's a lot of other jobs that offer fucking benefits. You don't have to cage people like rats.
We actually have a buddy, John Moss.
If he's here right now, great guy. Listen, I got no problem with him. But
And
prison guards and people who tow people's cars get fucked. You know what I mean? Yeah.
We can confirm with our friend Spam. He was locked up on the East Coast too.
Oh, that's right.
And our other buddy Johnny, he works at a prison currently. I just can't say which one.
You should call them and be like, do you finger white boys after they get visitors? Is this protocol?
I mean,
He's a great bowler.
But specify it. Be like, fit white men in their early 20s.
Yeah, no, I got so mad at my brother, bro. I couldn't forgive him. I got so mad, and he finally calmed me down. He was like, imagine the guy who has that job. He's like, at least you aren't that piece of shit. I started thinking about that. I'm like, yeah. He's like, imagine the guy who shoves fingers up inmates' asses. He goes, that's the real fucking loser. Yeah. So that's how I processed it psychologically until I got a microphone in my hand. Then I was like, you guys aren't gonna believe this shit.
Yeah, for sure that guy's got like Hep C.
Oh, dude, he's going to hell. Who cares?
Yeah,
I mean, I spent my life in a dark fucking room. Man, I could talk about jail for hours, dude. Last time I got the craziest shit was not the last time, but I got arrested in California, and I got they hit me with a lot of bullshit that I didn't do, which is why I'm here. Thank God.
What did you allegedly do?
Got the wrong guy. Bro, this shit was wild. I don't really want to talk about it, but I'll just say this. Like, when they arrested me, they had me at gunpoint on the floor, and I'm laying in the middle of the street. The spread eagle had about 8 guns pointed at me, and I'm laying on the concrete looking, and I look down the street, and there's a single file line of kids running across the street. They were evacuating the school because they thought I was like some guy.
Oh.
I'm like, bro, what the fuck?
What were you at school? I know, why were you at the school?
I wasn't. I was driving to go get breakfast, and they followed me and decided to pull me over in front of the school. I felt like it was a publicity stunt, so they could have a picture of me in the ground, all fours, the kids running in the background. It looked like a George Bush campaign, honestly. It looked fucking crazy. It was crazy. It was a psychops. I think the military was involved.
Yeah, weapons of mass destruction.
I had him in my pants, dude. I was shitting bricks. I'm like, why are you guys pointing guns at me? I'm like, why are you pointing guns at me? I'm fucking white. What is going on? You know what I mean? They're like, we know you're white. That's why we're not shooting you. I'm like, all right, fair. That's fair. I swear to God, if my brother was black, he would have died fucking 5 years before he died. You know what I mean?
Oh, dang.
Because the last, like, if you Google his name, one of the things you'll find is like man staying in the street, confronting police with an AR-15, right? And that's just a title you don't read with an African American male. That's only the privilege you get as a white man to point a fucking AR-15 at a Buffalo cop because they are just waiting.
A white man in Buffalo.
They're sick.
OJ.
Yeah. No, when OJ went on his little cunt spree, he lived in fucking Brentwood. Okay, cry me a fucking river, you rich crybaby faggot. No one cares, dude. I can't. My name's OJ. I can't control my emotions. I'm gonna kill my innocent wife. Go fuck yourself. I hope you like hell, bitch. You fucking piece of shit. Yeah, dude. Like, no one cares. If you killed that white bitch in Buffalo, I'd be behind you. You know what I mean? If you killed one in Buffalo, and if she said to you, like, you know, maybe like, you can't run. You know what? Then I get it. If she said to you, you're not a good running back. Or maybe if she said, you shouldn't have won the Heisman. I get it. But she didn't, did she? She just wanted to get her fucking glasses from some little white boy who was and he had to run into the fucking Nigerian nightmare, O.J. Simpson.
Was he Nigerian?
I don't know. He ran like a Nigerian nightmare, and that's all that matters, okay? That's all that matters.
The man that she picked.
I'm going to have a lot of comedians be like, can I talk to you after this podcast comes out? I'm going to be like, stop right there. No. We haven't even talked about strip clubs. You know, there's so much to cover.
I was going to ask, do you still you still believe that that you can perform Santeria or...
Oh, God, why you bring that up? Because I brought it up in the last podcast?
Yeah.
Haven't looked into it. Not really interested.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
To be honest.
but
what was the question? Do I believe I can perform it?
Yeah.
I think anyone can fucking tap into witchcraft.
But you're scared of it, right?
Fuck yeah. That's just realer than fucking... That's super real.
I think that's like a more East Coast thing, no?
No. That's a universal thing, baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Explain it to us.
I don't know. Maybe Santeria specifically might be an East Coast thing.
Yeah, remind us. What is it? Because I don't know.
He's like, reminds me, I turn around, he's jerking off on a Ouija board. Fucking guy. Dude, your horns are popping out, buddy. I can smell them. He's like, he's like just polishing his
licking
horns.
his lips behind you, Troy.
It's okay. I can hear your tail hitting the ground. Calm down, boy. You're excited. No, that was me. That was me getting to know you, and there was no emphasis on being funny in that last podcast. That was like me like trying like not to talk about what I just talked about jail and shit. I was like the kid knows.
Let's talk about that.
But yeah, that whole thing spun off of my family. That was like something my family went through. But that wasn't really anything.
Tell us like a summary. What is it? Because I don't know what it is.
What is Santa? I don't know. I don't know. I know witchcraft. There's forms of witchcraft. I don't know.
I just know they kill chickens, right?
I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of rituals involved.
They kill chickens.
Yeah, right.
My
I don't fucking know.
That's true too.
good as fuck, fool. You know what I'm saying? I'll kill a chicken fast as fuck, fool.
Yeah, chickens are bomb. Chickens.
Yo, I'll kill him and I'll eat him, fool. Say I won't, fool. I had to stop eating red meat because I got gout like a fucking old bitch. You know what I mean? I'm 31. I got fucking gout, dude.
Wait, hold on.
Let the man explain because I've never had this, but it scares me.
Dude, you should be scared. Yeah, it's coming.
I've never seen my dad like take a day off in his life,
Right.
except when he had gout.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when it comes, call me. I'll give you the remedy. And there's some things you need to take immediately if you have it.
What is gout?
It's your body fighting itself. Gout is uric acid buildup that you can get. Most people get it from drinking alcohol, which is funny because I don't drink at all. But this is the drunk as I've been.
No,
like
it's
2 years.
It's drinking alcohol and red meat.
Red meat's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
So the last flare up I had was when I had if I ate ground beef 80-20, like 80% fat or 8% lean, 20% fat. Oh, dude, I can't fucking walk. So I had to cut. Yeah,
Yeah, well, I mean, you remember our
bad.
dad?
I had to cut
You'd
red
have
meat
it
out
like,
of my diet. I just eat chicken.
yeah,
chicken rice.
our dad would have it lay on the couch with his foot up for like
Brother,
a day.
is your dad still alive?
Yeah.
Does he still have flare-ups?
No, honestly,
Oh,
he
he
hasn't
takes
had a
medicine
flare
for it?
No,
Oh, he just
gave up
watches
pork?
his diet.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing with me, bro. My last flare-up I got a few days ago was right after I performed at the Comedy Store, and I was watching my diet pretty strictly. The only thing I had eaten that I could possibly be it was I ate a shit ton of edibles.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I ate a
damn
couple
sugar.
packages of edibles. I was like, I'm gonna eat like 1,000 milligrams and go watch Superman and OD in the theater. But the fucking, I ate the edibles and I thought it was 6/11, came out 7/11, or it came out the month. So I got fucked up for no reason. I was
Yeah.
super disappointed.
Nah,
But
yeah, I see fucking people come into at work. I need my gout medication right now.
Oh, yeah?
I'm like,
Damn. 'Cause
yeah,
I know it's serious.
yeah.
what's that?
The gout.
Bro, I'm telling you right now, it's debilitating. And if an average person had this and didn't have like health insurance and didn't know what was happening, you would kill yourself.
But what does it feel like?
It feels like you. It feels like you have a broke. Well, the first time I had my first flare, I thought I had a broken foot. So I went to the hospital because I couldn't walk, and I thought my foot was broken because it was swollen up like a softball, which is what usually happens if you break something. Because the swelling made me think, oh, this is an injury, and they took my blood. They told me in 5 minutes, dude, it's an imbalance in your blood. It's uric acid. So I don't know.
The
Dude,
big toe.
would not wish it on my worst enemy.
Really?
How to describe it as is stepping on glass.
Worse. Oh my god.
Straight up, just straight up.
What it specifically does is it builds up crystals in your joints.
Damn.
So like it builds up in your big toe the first time, and it gets in that your toe. You ever had turf toe?
No.
It's like a lot of athletes get it. You can get it from football, basketball. It's like just from pushing off in your big toe too much.
Okay.
That joint in your big toe is where the crystals form. And dude, you literally cannot fucking walk. You can't put any pressure on it. You can't, and it swells.
Yeah.
So like you can't put socks on. You can't put shoes on. You just have to be barefoot until the swelling goes down. How sexy. This is why I'm gonna die alone. Yeah. Beautiful. It's
I got
okay.
it.
I've admired it. You know what I mean? I'm an OD under the Eiffel Tower like a fucking G. Listen to Joey Diaz, bitch.
There you go. Good. Where we at on time, Jay?
57 minutes.
Perfect.
Good time to talk about strip clubs. I'm kidding. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah.
No, it's
Honestly, yeah.
Tell us the how you and Joey Diaz are similar by being bouncers at strip clubs.
Wait. One more time.
You and Joey Diaz were bouncers at
Me
at
and
strip
Joey Diaz was the bouncer.
clubs. Yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah, dude.
You know, so I did not
Dropping knowledge.
First of all, I didn't realize the mob was still around, and I had no idea how close I was to him until
Sure
I
you
no.
Sure you didn't.
Truly, bro, I didn't know anything about anything until everyone died.
He only lives in
Yeah,
New York.
I know.
I didn't know anything about my dad until I didn't know my dad went to prison until after he died. I found out my sister's wedding. My dad was in prison for attempted murder. Dude, what?
They just call me Paisan.
I feel like I lived my whole life a lie. I was like, how did I not know this? This is my best friend. You know what I mean?
He has a cousin Joey.
Yeah.
My dad was a funny guy. He was the king of they got the
See how
wrong
we changed
guy.
the subject?
They got the wrong guy. Well, he told me
shit,
he
he got the invite.
had affiliations with people, but when I worked at these strip clubs in South
Is that what
Buffalo,
it's called?
from my experience it was like 2016 2019 that time, and that was so far beyond the Sopranos and shit, and you didn't really feel there wasn't like a mob presence feel that I felt in Buffalo, at least where I was at. So I mean, you heard things, but they wasn't like out in the freaking open.
Yeah, because you lived it.
Well,
The way to look the other way.
Yeah. Kept your mouth
you're a
shut.
funny guy, dude. No. I was scary. It was scary how close I was to it when I got away, and then the feds busted a lot of these people, and I saw it once I moved to California, I started going visiting Buffalo, and I ran into a guy I used to work with. He gave me the rundown. He was like, yeah, the fucking DA came in here, took the liquor license off the wall, took everybody to prison, shut us down, locked the doors up. I was like, oh my God, no shit, what happened? I'm like, so did you guys open up somewhere else? You guys closed? What happened? He's like, oh no, we opened up the next day. We're open up the next day.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, open the next day. Liquor license back on the wall. So that means there's an informant. That's in plain English. Yeah, it turned out, there was.
Some guy.
Yeah. No, it turned out that there was a DEA agent at that time in Buffalo who was taking bribes from the mob, who was allowing them to operate, and none of it really stopped until he got arrested. And then there was a string of things that happened. Like there was a federal judge who got assassinated. He got shot in his head. He got shot in his home in broad daylight, and that kind of was like, wow, like they can still do this shit. And then there was a big restaurant, popular restaurant downtown. They walked in there in broad daylight, executed the guy in the restaurant, walked out. And then when that stuff started happening, people were like, "Oh wow, they're still here." You know.
Yeah.
But it takes really dramatic things to even think they're around. You know what I mean? Because you think that shit's all in the movies, but dude, working for him was crazy, man. Like it was the fucking craziest experience of my life. I didn't like it, and I stopped bouncing.
So it was nothing like Goodfellas.
Well, the second I had guns pulled on me, I stopped working there.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it got pretty scary pretty quick. I could tell you a lot of stories, a lot of crazy shit, man.
Well, tell me that story.
The guns?
Yes.
Well, so there was a guy who would come in who would throw $1,000 every night, and he was a known drug dealer. And I talked to him one day.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah, I talked to him one day. I was like, yo,
he worked at 9 to 5. Watch.
I saw him throw a G a night, right? Every night, like it was clockwork. I said to him at the door, I said, I don't know what you're doing, but I like it. You know? I was like, let me know if you need anything at all.
Yeah.
And he kind of like paused, looked at me down, and was like, can you get me weed? And I was like, I'll try.
Yeah.
And then I ended up being friends with him. And then it got, I'm circling back to the question. We had a featured entertainer come in from Vegas who would, her thing was like pain and you know, she would do like a pain show. She would like cut herself on stage and shit, she would pierce herself with needles, stomp on Legos.
Like a wrestling
But her finishing act is she would bring out a staple gun. And everyone could staple money to her body. So if, like 20s on the arms,
Was this Steve-O?
50s on the tits, and she would walk out the stage like she would walk at the stage like a Christmas tree, just bleeding with money stapled to her body. It was kind of hot, but no, I'm just kidding. But every show she would the owner would come out with $100 bill, and someone would staple the 100 to her clit, and the guy would put the 100 on her pussy and rub the staple gun around until she moaned, then he'd staple her. And well, this drug dealer decided one day he was gonna film it, which you can't fucking film. Yeah. So my owner, he was this coked out asshole. He liked to just fucking kick people out for everything. So he saw this guy filming. He points at me, and goes, "Him out." I'm like, "Fuck," because I'm like, "There's no way I can even touch this fucking guy. I'll be dead before I get home." Like, so I walked up to him. I was like, "Hey, bro, just put the phone in your pocket. We won't have a problem. How about that? Just put that phone in your pocket. We won't have a problem." And he looked at me. This is after we had our conversation, and he looked behind me and saw the dudes behind me getting ready to come grab him. And he just put his phone in his pocket. He's like, "All right." And I told the guys at the door, I was like, "Yeah, that." I was like, he deleted the video on his phone. Like, there's nothing to worry about. He's super nice. Like, don't kick him out. So the owner kind of backtracked on me, and then to be honest, some guys in his crew got too fucked up, wanted to fuck with the bouncers after that, and one guy got physical. They threw him outside. We went to walk back inside and turned around, and he had a gun drawn on us, and we're just like, I mean, he didn't necessarily point it at like our head or anything. He just had kind of pointed at the ground, but we knew like how quickly that, how fast that could change. So it didn't really even process until a while later. And that's when I kind of was like, I'm not gonna fucking die to work at a strip club, but they wanted me to push coke for them. That's why they hired me, because they were paying me cash every night, and then after a few months they started paying me like an 8-ball a night.
Oh, okay.
They would just give me coke, and I was like, dude, I don't fucking want coke.
And
like, I need gas money to get home.
Were the other bouncers paisans too, or no?
Bro,
or just you?
That's where the shit got fucking insane.
Okay.
So after like maybe 4 months of me working there, the other bouncers were like, "Yo, you want in on the action?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "You don't know."
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't know what they were talking about.
Like,
so there was always like these fucking fuckboy Canadians that would come in there. I hate to be stereotyped, but that's what they were. And they'd always flash coke to the strippers, like an ounce, half ounce. And when they would go in the bathroom, the bouncers would walk in there and just rob them. Just like, take all their coke, you know what I mean? Get the fuck out of here, call the cops. They would just rob these guys, kick them out, and then they would go back out and sell the coke to strippers at like a 1/10 of the price. They'd sell it to them dirt cheap. And then that way the bouncers could grease their pockets, the strippers could keep getting coke, and these idiots were getting rolled like fucking. It was fun. And I didn't know that was going on until they offered it to me, and they're like, "Hey," they're like, "We'll just come to the bathroom. We're gonna work this guy." And I go in and they just like really fucking robbed them. I'm like, "Holy shit!" I'm like, "Oh, it's going down." I'm I'm like, I've never seen anything like that in my life. So we developed a pretty good friendship. Me and those guys that worked there. Yeah, they were just,
And all this is alleged, obviously.
No, this fucking happened. Dude, no, the owner of the club, he told everyone, like, "I will not hire you if you have a girlfriend. I will not hire you if you're in a relationship. And if the second you get in one, you're fired." So these were all a bunch of miserable fucking 30-year-old guys who couldn't get pussy to save their lives. who all they could do is, do drugs. Most of them had families they couldn't see, and it was a sad story. It wasn't anything fun.
So you guys were racist towards the Canadians? I've never heard.
No,
this.
They were racist towards a black woman.
Oh, all right.
The owner was. Yeah, he specifically liked kicking black women out.
Oh,
well, what was crazy about it was you would think at a strip club it'd be predominantly men. I'm telling you, it's 50-50.
Really?
As many women would come in there as men, just as many. And if you're not buying a 2-drink minimum, if you're not buying shots, the second you start buying, someone like me is gonna come up and tell you gotta go, and it just feels fucked up. But I mean, it's the way it is. They're money hogs. The owners are coked out, so they're just looking for a reason to kick someone out. You know what I mean? I think the craziest thing the experience I had was I was working they call it the money pit, which is where they would come in, they would get singles, they'd cash out,
Okay,
yeah, and right next to the money pit is a camera, like a TV like that, with like 30 different cameras on it, and it's of the girls in the back getting the lap dances, and it's an infrared, so you can see them at nighttime. So the bouncer who ran the money machine was like, "Yo, stud, you want to see something crazy?" I'm like, "Sure." He's like, "Come up here, watch this." So I'm watching the cameras while he's counting out this money, and I saw this. It's just so fucked up.
Say it.
I saw this dude in the back. He like looked homeless. He was like leather jacket, no shirt underneath, which is a wild move in Buffalo in the winter. Yeah. That's a wild move, okay? Leather jacket, no shirt underneath, long hair, greasy, just dirty looking fool. And he goes in the back. And he starts licking the girl's armpit, right?
Oh,
she took her shoe off. He like licked her feet. I was like, all right. And then she put her heels on. And I saw her put her heels on, and I look back. He's sitting there. I look back at the camera. He's sitting there jerking off, and she's stomping on his nuts with these high heels, just kicking him in the balls as hard as she can. He's like coming over his head. He's like, and I'm sitting there fucking watching this at my job. And then the motherfucker had the balls to come out of the back and try dabbing us up. We're like, bro, what the fuck? But I swear to God, in my life, he like literally was like, yo, you guys hiring? We're like, homie, if you don't get the fuck out of here right now, bro, like, you're disgusting, bro. You need Jesus. Like,
we're gonna leave on that high note.
That might have been the darkest thing. That was like,
that was great.
That was hot. It was definitely.
Okay, all right. There's been another episode of Tall Boy Sunday. Troy, is there last thing you wanted to plug before we end?
Come out to the rehab shows if you're all about sober living. We don't charge tickets. Free food. Fuck, I probably should have said that.
There's
going to be a lot of people there now.
Yeah, $50. $50 a plate.
Free snacks. I'll say that. If you're a comedian, free food.
There you go.
And that's all I care about is promoting these sober shows and getting the funniest people possible to help these people out.
Okay, well, we'll put the link down here.
Yes, sir. It's beautiful. We're gonna take this to the next level. They're bringing in a few other rehabs right now, and they're already talking about they want to do. Like they want to rent out like a theater because they're telling me they can bring in hundreds of people, so it could potentially be a really big show.
Cool.
Which makes me very excited because it's all sober. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if we do a comedy club, bar has to be closed. That's like the weird dynamic of it.
Isn't a comedian like a magician? Their best friend is a drunk audience.
100%. That's why it's a tough crowd.
Yeah,
because you're not performing for drunk people. You're performing for sober people who've had a horrible fucking life.
Yeah.
You gotta go make someone who's having a really bad day, make them smile.
That's true.
And for
Make
me,
them smile.
there's I don't care about it. I'm the most passionate about that.
There you
Truly.
go. All right. Well, thank you for being out here. It's been another episode. We'll see you guys.
Bye. See you
See you
guys
later.
Bye.